Hey YouTube, do you like politics? Chances are your answers range from glaring at it from across the room to make sure it doesn't bang your sister, to wanting to body slam its face into the fucking dirt. But you know what? Fuck it. Let's muse about it anyways. Even if you don't follow politics, you may still have heard of this guy, Ron Paul. He was a candidate for the Republican nominee for president, and unless you've been living under a rock for the past few years, you probably know that this guy is our president right now. He's part of the Democratic Party, and it's that time of year again when the other big party, the Republicans, pick the dude they want to have campaign against him. While nothing's official yet, everyone assumes it's going to be this guy, Mitt Romney. But what's that got to do with Ron Paul? Well, even though he didn't win, he did make it to the Final Four, alongside the Pillsbury Doughboy, Mr. Flanders. I mean these guys. In any case, the way you win is by getting enough delegates. Each state has so many delegates they give out, and the outcome of the state vote determines how many go to who. Whoever gets the most wins. I know it sounds exactly like most points wins, but the difference is you don't get points. You get actual people who are then forced to vote for you at the big convention where the winner is actually picked. Why don't they just have points? Man, don't ask questions! In any case, everyone says Mitt Romney is the winner because he's got more than half the delegates. But since score is kept with actual people, I said no questions! People selected as delegates may not like the guy they're being forced to vote for. The most recent example of this happened this week in Nevada. You know Nevada, that piece of shit you have to drive through to get to Vegas? Nevada is worth 25 points. I mean delegates. God, fuck! And the caucus results said Romney got 14 of those 25. But it turns out, of the 25 dudes that are delegates, 22 of them are Ron Paul supporters. There are also 3 others who are super delegates, which are like regular delegates except they got man thongs, but don't worry about them for now. So, with 22 of the 25, does that mean Ron Paul will beat Mitt Romney? Fuck no. 14 of them still have to vote for Romney at a convention, otherwise Reince Priebus will ram home a lead pipe up their asses. So there's really no point in me telling you all this. Well, actually, some of the delegates are suing the Republican leaders to, quote, vote their conscience, which is code for not this cunt, but that probably won't go anywhere. In actual news, the big rumble that went down this week was the continued fight over the country's immigration policy. Simply put, their laws that say what happened when Mexicans decide to hop the border and live in America, usually landing sweet gigs like manual labor, lawn maintenance, and professional baseball player. This whole thing started last week when Obama made a speech announcing plans not to deport children of immigrants who were born here and meet the eligibility requirements of the DREAM Act. He didn't change any laws, he just told the Department of Homeland Security not to deport those immigrants for 2 years and give them a chance to apply for a work visa and land one of those cushy jobs I mentioned. Now, the DREAM Act itself never passed Congress. You know, that building that looks like a giant boob. So it's not actually law. If it was, it would have put in place a path to citizenship, which was law explaining how immigrants could then become citizens. Why didn't it pass? It didn't get enough votes. In the Senate, which has 100 people, you need a majority to pass, and it only got 55. Wait, what? Really? God, fuck the Senate. That's a whole other story about why that worked. Anywho, Obama said this thing, and the Republicans immediately raped him with their trunks. They said a lot of things in protest, all of which were fucking stupid. Sorry, Republicans, but they were. I will sum up the outrage in 2 sentences. This is too short-term, we need a long-term solution, and why didn't you go through Congress? Look, on their own, these are valid points. Immigrants in this country get the short end of the stick on a daily basis, and a long-term solution to give them a chance to become citizens and not have to live in constant fear of being deported is a good thing. But here's why I'm hating on them. We already fucking had that! Remember this? And this? And this? Sure, it would make sense that the Republicans were the 55 that got fisted during that vote, but they were the ones that voted against it. Let's cool off a second. Maybe I'm not being fair. The Republicans don't want just any long-term plan after all. They want their long-term plan. Makes sense. So, let's compare the two. Mitt Romney's plan has a path to citizenship for children of immigrants who serve in the military. The DREAM Act had the same thing. Okay, cool. That's one thing they can agree on. The DREAM Act also wanted to put into place similar measures for children of immigrants who are going to college. The Mitt Romney plan wants to build a high-tech fence along our border. Look, I know it's a non sequitur, but I gotta make a point. Too many people nowadays think illegal immigrants have cooties. One prominent side in this debate is, let's build a fence so Mexicans can't get in. Better yet, let's build 2 fences and electrify them. I'm not making that shit up.
I will build a double-walled fence with a area of security neutrality in between. I will build that.
A real fence, 20 feet high, with barbed wire, electrified, with a sign on the other side that says, "It can kill you."
Why don't people like immigrants?
They took our job! They took our job! They took your job! They took our job! They took your job! They took your job! Your job!
That's right. Immigrants take our jobs. Let me have one last word on this. I suppose I get not wanting every dude who can get across the border to automatically become a citizen. But I don't think anybody is saying that. Even the DREAM Act forces you to be in the country for 5 years. Plus all the other shit. So the Republican side is really based in the belief that illegal immigrants are a bad thing. Sounds right, since illegal is in the title, and they all do try to get jobs when they're here, but just don't forget what kind of jobs they are getting. You want proof kicking them all out in a big shocky fence is a bad idea? Okay. Last year, the state of Georgia passed a big immigration reform bill, and it had this illegals have cooties mindset. It stopped employers from hiring illegals and gave the police new authority to find illegals and give them the old heave-ho. However, before you could say, who's going to work the fields, half of the crop spoiled. That's right. After kicking out all of the illegals, Georgian farmers couldn't find enough people to work in the fields, even though the fucking geniuses who passed the bill promised the opposite. And the state ended up losing upwards of $500 million in crops. It's just too bad Paco and Jose were busy frying their cojones trying to get back over 2 electrified fences.